Straight right by Jones. Right on the chin of Whitaker.
Good left hand right on the chin.
Pernell has landed that overhand left about 5 times now. Sets it up with the swift jab. Or has led with it a couple times. Always looking to dig the right to the ribcage in close. And there a left to the body. Fighting almost exclusively out of the southpaw stance in this fight. Only for a few seconds as he turned around and fought from a convention. Now he turns around and goes conventional and steps forward behind the left jab.
The last time a late substitute defeated a champion, Bone Crusher Smith against Tim Witherspoon.
Thrown in with only about 3 or 4 days preparation, right?
I don't recall. It might have been longer than that, Jim. I think it was somewhere between a week and 2 weeks. A week. Our producer, Ross Greenberg, tells us it was 1 week. And what resulted was a 1-round knockout. Whitaker is winning these rounds, but it's no walk in the park.
Just take your time, just like you're doing. That's boxing. Like that. Huh? No, take your time like you're doing. Just box him like that. Now, when you close, don't get tied up. Yeah. Use your uppercuts. These guys are easy to hit with uppercuts. Well, yeah, both hands. All you got to do is close your eyes and throw them. But don't throw them from outside. Throw them inside when you're in close. Right? Jab. That's it.
Put a lot of pressure on this man that he's not expecting. You're picking everything. When you get inside, it's important that you start pushing him. Don't back up when you're inside. You understand? When you get into the exchanges, make sure you make him break ground a little bit, okay?
Do something back. Don't look for him to do something back.
Make him break ground. Understand? When you get inside where you have your exchanges, always make sure that you're always pushing him back to make him break ground. You understand? Because you're putting a lot more pressure on him than he's used to getting.
Take the respect away from him.
Emanuel Stewart insisted to us that he believed, in terms of style, this was a favorable matchup for Anthony Jones. He wasn't able to offer a lot of specifics as to why he thought Jones matched up so well with Whitaker, but he firmly insisted that he believed Jones would have a chance to win the fight because of a favorable style matchup. But you saw the punch stat numbers that showed Whitaker landing nearly 50% of his punches to only 13% for Jones.
The fact that Jones is here and giving a reasonable account of himself is a tribute to Stewart and the Kronk Club. Of course, Tommy Hearns, the most famous member of that club, the first champion and by far the best champion to come out of there. But Emanuel Stewart has produced a lot of good professional prize fighters who, because of Hearns, have gotten some breaks and maybe haven't been as good as they were thought to be. But Tony Jones is making the fight here. He's taking it to Whitaker and making Whitaker earn whatever he gets.
Jones wasn't in training for any specific matchup. He had nothing contracted, but he says that he never allows himself to get very much out of shape, and he's always in the gym at least a few days a week, whether he's ready to fight or not. took a right and gave a couple of good lefts. Content to stand in close and trade punches with Jones.
He's put some heavy stuff on Jones, and Jones isn't going anywhere yet. The fact that Whitaker is willing to change is an expression of his confidence in himself. Remember earlier I said, Jim, that he sees everything and it looks like he could land everything. And so he's not afraid of staying inside because he can see the punches coming and he can counter them before they get there.
Well, if in fact he finds it convenient to rehearse for a potential Chavez matchup, he'd better get ready for infighting, because that's what he'll get there.
Look on it, you can't punch through two hands and open. Come on, bang.
In many ways, Whitaker is a more dangerous opponent for Chavez than Camacho was. Not as an attractive as a match, but a more dangerous opponent because of his quickness.
Hey, suck it up now, suck it up. Keep working just the way you work it, and the main thing is to keep pushing. You understand? Very important that you push him. Push him inside.
Your weight on him.
That's when your man don't get the left to get his best shots off.
Harold Letterman, how do you see the first 4 rounds?
Larry, 4 rounds to nothing, 40-36, favor Pernell Whitaker. He keeps landing those good straight left hands to the body. He keeps coming underneath with that real good straight left hand. You know, I keep talking about the 4 points in which we score. I always talk about defense. Watch Pernell Whitaker keep his hands up high, his elbows in tight. He picks up a lot of shots on the gloves and the elbows. Give him credit for defense.
And let's say now a good roundhouse left. Wasn't that short, sharp punch that gets a knockout, but it did get Jones' attention. I don't think I've seen Whitaker ever do this kind of thing before.
I don't think so either.
Come on.
But I think you're right, Larry. I think his willingness to stand in close like that is a mark of the constantly growing confidence which has been manifested throughout his career. So calm in close, and you think of Chavez when you see that.
It's unusual. It's sort of like an antelope deciding he's so quick that he can stand right in front of the lion and make the lion miss.
And we are joined now at ringside by one of Pernell's closest friends and training partners, the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Evander Holyfield. And Evander, what about the more flat-footed style that Pernell seems to exhibit now as opposed to a couple years ago? By design?
Well, I think right now, I think Pernell ain't really fighting his fight. He's a very technical fighter, and now that he is stronger, he seems to go flat-footed, but he's knocking guys out and getting the people what they're looking for.
But when you say not fighting his fight, do you think that he's being lured into a little bit more of a brawl here than is necessary or advisable?
Well, I think right now he's just so confident that that he can take this guy out, and he's not fighting his fight. And usually when he fights his opponent, he's very cautious, and he uses his quickness and his technical.
So are you saying that he's achieved a certain peak in his career And now he's trying to be a more exciting fighter because that could result in more exciting bank deposits.
Well, it could be, but, you know, Pernell is a very technical fighter, and he's very skillful. Right now, he's just looking to take this guy out, which is not his fight.
Pernell between rounds, or excuse me, Evander between rounds, and the end of this round is coming up. We're going to ask your opinion.